Pannun's very close aide, Inderjeet Singh Gosal, over firearms-related charges last week. The three separatists were arrested during a traffic stop operator in Ontario on the 19th of September. According to authorities, accused were presented before the court in Ontario. This is on Monday and charged with offences including careless use of a firearm, possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose and carrying a concealed weapon, among other offences, is what the police has gone on to say in a statement to NDTV.
Khalistani separatist Inderjeet Singh Gosal had claimed that the RCMP, that is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, had warned him of a threat to his life and had provided him with witness protection level security. He had pointed a finger at India while making that claim. Now, the same man has been arrested by the Ontario Provincial Police, the Highway Security Division. The accusation against him, and he's now been charged as well on several counts related to the possession of firearms, including the possession of a firearm obtained through crime. The Ontario Province Police made the statement on Wednesday, giving no further details but only revealing that 3 people had been charged and arrested in this matter and that their bail hearing has taken place. Inderjeet Singh Gosal has also been arrested earlier on in an incident related to violence outside a temple in Brampton. Brampton is a city in Ontario which is part of the Greater Toronto Area, a place which has a sizable Indian population.
Now, after Prime Minister Modi's meeting with counterpart Maha in June this year, it's India and Canada that seem to be set in order to take another decisive. This is a step towards normalizing the relationship in the form of a likely visit that's expected next month to New Delhi by the Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand.
In another indication of the improving ties between Canada and India, Canada's Foreign Minister Anita Anand will be visiting New Delhi in October to meet her counterpart S. Jaishankar. She will also visit China, giving an indication that the overall aim of this visit is improving trade ties and trade diplomacy in the Indo-Pacific region. But for Canada to effectively access the Indian market and vice versa, it is important that the two sides are able to iron out their differences over the issue of security. Hence, the friction over the issue of Khalistan separatist elements getting a free hand in Canada becomes essential to tackle. There have been 3 important moves in this direction over the recent past. The first, a meeting between the national security advisors of the two countries in New Delhi. Secondly, the arrest of 3 Khalistani separatists recently over the issue of weapons possession and careless use of firearms, including the use of a firearm or having in possession a firearm attained by crime. And this included the arrest of Inderjeet Singh Gosal, a Khalistani separatist here in Canada. And thirdly, a report by CSIS, which is the Canada Security and Intelligence Agency, that has recently in its report acknowledged for the first time that Khalistani separatist elements were using the Canadian soil for fundraising and planning violence primarily against India. On the other hand, in another move, the Canadian and the Indian side have restored their senior-most diplomats in each other's country, which means that the Indian High Commissioner to Ottawa is now very much in Canada and today officially took charge, that is on Wednesday, took charge officially by presenting his credentials along with 5 other diplomats. The credentials were presented to the Governor General, and Governor General Mary Simon said that diplomacy has changed a lot since she was an ambassador at the turn of the century, but one essential element remains intact, that is building bridges or repairing the bridges through dialogue. Very symbolic of what India and Canada are attempting at the moment. In Vancouver, this is Maha Siddiqui for NDTV.
Now, the latest in a series of remarks from US officials on Donald Trump's tariffs on India, Energy Secretary Chris Wright has gone on to say that he is a huge fan of India, calling the country an awesome ally of the United States. However, he also said that India is buying Russian oil. While responding to a journalist's questions during that press briefing, Wright went on to say, "I'm a huge fan of India. It's an awesome ally of America, but it is also buying oil from Russia. We want to end the Ukraine war, and I also believe," that's what he said, and I'm quoting, that he believes that India also wants that. America wants nothing more than to expand energy trade with India. Well, he also went on to state that the US is looking forward to more energy trade with India. However, he has raised concerns that India is caught up in the middle of another issue, hinting at New Delhi's Russian oil purchase, over which President Donald Trump imposed that additional 25% tariff as penalty. Here's his reaction.
Russia trying to find peace in Ukraine is a sticky thing, and we are both within the cabinet in the United States and with our allies trying to find the most creative ways to get this war to end. The President wants nothing more than this war to end, and it would have the additional benefit of removing a source of friction. I am all in on energy cooperation, trade cooperation with India. I think there's a bright future there, but somehow we got to figure out how to work together to put the maximum pressure to bring the war to an end.
And US President Donald Trump says that he was a victim of a triple sabotage at the United Nations Day earlier, where an escalator, teleprompter and a microphone all failed to work for him. First, the escalator came to a screeching halt with Trump and his entourage on it, an event that Trump called absolute sabotage. Second, there was Trump, who said that his teleprompter went stone cold dark during his address to the United Nations. Thirdly, it was Trump who went on to say that the sound was off at the United Nations as he spoke, and that people could only hear his remarks if they had, someone to interpret what he was saying into the earpieces. Now, Trump said that his wife Melania told him that she couldn't hear what he was saying.